more year of Clowney for him to stay healthy and be productive before he gets that long-term deal. We'll obviously continue to watch that. Another big one, Grady Jarrett from the Atlanta Falcons. They're big-time playmaking defensive lineman. He, of course, is a player they want to be a big part of their future. They've negotiated with him, but at this point, there is a gap to make up. There's still a long way to go before 4 p.m. I know both sides are going to continue to work toward that. And then finally, Robbie Gould, the kicker for the San Francisco 49ers, who went public with a trade request only to have the Niners go, yeah, we're not trading you. At this point, the two sides still are in communication, still trying to do a deal. A sizable gap to make up in a very complicated situation, but at least there still is a chance of one before 4 p.m.
Players and some playmakers and some important pieces that may or may not get signed today on deadline day, so keep it here on NFL Network, where Ian will be standing by. Somebody has to be bringing you food, so you can just be ready to go and sort of field all the questions and answers from everybody here wanting to know what's going on with the guys that impact their team in their division. But let's want to talk about what's going on with the Cowboys and Zeke Elliott and all the legal stuff that's going on down there with him.
This was an interesting one that popped up actually on Saturday night, late on Saturday night. And, of course, we spent a lot of time focusing on the incident regarding Zeke Elliott in Las Vegas, where security guard Kyle Johnson accused him, on video, of course, accused Zeke Elliott of pushing him down and causing harm to him. And interestingly, Johnson has pressed charges against Zeke Elliott, which then I talked to Zeke Elliott's agents, and I talked to several lawyers who represent him, including Scott Rosenboom and Jason Lambert, who sent to me a statement from Zeke Elliott saying, from them on behalf of Zeke Elliott, saying that he has been the target of extortion with the security guard, essentially trying to make money off Elliott, off the incident in Vegas for which Elliott was not disciplined by the NFL. Elliott and his people have been in contact with the proper authorities, and they're cooperating fully on this matter.
Appreciate the update there. Ian, we'll talk to you in a bit and throughout the morning here on Good Morning Football and NFL Network. In other running back news, did you guys hear this Melvin Gordon soundbite?
Yeah. Yep. Tough.
Well, he could be on the verge of a holdout with the Chargers. I didn't see this coming. His contract is expiring. He still has one more year to go. Well, here's what Gordon had to say about his current situation.
I want to end up with the Chargers. That's my home. You know, like I said, I'm not going to sit here and be like, man, I don't want to go back to the Chargers. Like, that's the team who blessed me with an opportunity. And, you know, they started my life. They changed my life. I want to get paid, and that's just kind of what it is, you know. Hopefully I end up a Charger. That's the goal. I want to end as a Charger.
He wants to be a Charger, but he said, I wouldn't be opposed to being traded if we do not get a deal done. Now, we just heard from Ian about Zeke Elliott. Zeke also entering the final year of a 5-year deal. So what are the chances that Zeke sort of finds himself on that same vibe as Melvin right now?
Well, I mean, Zeke got to stay out of trouble. I mean, he just has to stay out of trouble. Zeke, you got to understand, bro, like, you know, the camera's on you. Everybody's going to look and try to get you off your square, right? But at the end of the day, you're the superstar running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and I was a former running back, and running backs sometimes get disrespected when we're trying to get paid. Why? Because we get hit a lot, guys. We get hit all the time. We're the only position when we get the ball is behind the line of scrimmage, and all 11 defenders are going at us when we get the football. So oftentimes teams want to get more yards and hits out of a guy before they pay him. So I think Zeke will get paid. He's a dominant alpha back in this league, 3-down back and catch, do everything. But he just has to stay out of trouble, guys. I mean, that's just the case here. And I think Dak will probably get paid first because quarterbacks make a whole lot of money, and the faster you pay him, the cheaper he'll be. But come on, man, Zeke is going to be a Dallas Cowboy probably for the next 4 or 5 years.
I always like you, Mike, because running backs take a lot of heat this year. You know, like, and you always speak up for the backs. You know, you're like the Lorax of running backs. You speak for the RBs. Here's the thing: no one has more touches than Zeke in the last 3 years. Nobody. They're probably going to run the wheels off him again this year. And then after that, then they're going to pay him after all of that. On top of that, they can't really trust him. About 8 years ago, I was on Radio Row. I'm sitting around as a radio producer, and the guest shows up way early. As a radio producer, you got to talk to him, make chatter. It's Larry Fitzgerald. Okay. Sitting there talking about anything I could think of. Somehow we got on the topic of cars. Larry keeps saying, I don't do cars. I'm not a car guy. Cars are depreciating assets. Yes. I'm into running backs are depreciating assets. Every available metric tells us that the wheels start to fall off. And if you look at the Cowboys, Cowboys and you think, well, they're different. That's their offense. That's them. Just take you back not too long ago. They had a running back named DeMarco Murray who led the entire league in rushing.
Come on, Kyle,
He was
don't say
a
it.
first-team
Don't say it.
All-Pro. They let him walk, and he was out of football in 3 years. I don't think this is a slam dunk that the Dallas Cowboys are going to break off Zeke some huge contract because they're smart and he gets a lot of work. Hold your breath on this.
Are you
How'd they do
comparing?
without him for those 6 games? Didn't
Well,
he prove his value?
They
when he
could
was on
have,
the
but it's
field?
also like I look at Melvin Gordon. They were without him for 4 games, and they won all 4.
They were 4-0, but that's not the case with the Cowboys, so you can't make that argument for Zeke Elliott.
I can actually because I think the Cowboys' defense is much better now than they were then, and I think Dak is going to get better. And a lot of now that Amari is there, we've changed the offense. I really do. What do you got?
Come on, man. This offense still runs through Ezekiel
does.
Elliott. I mean,
50% of it.
Without Ezekiel Elliott on the football field, Dak is not who he is, and you don't get the extra defenders out of the box. This is an elite back. It's
great.
I mean, I put him in the categories of the Adrian Petersons, the Marshawn
Would you be
Lynch's.
saying that in 3 years, though, Mike? That's what they're investing in.
You telling me to predict the future right now?
Well, that's what they have to do if they sign him, right? It's about the future.
But a lot of times, guys get paid for what they've done already.
See, I think that's bad business. I think that's bad
Quarterbacks
business.
certainly
Well,
do.
quarterbacks certainly do, but
Sure,
we don't say that
quarterbacks
about
get
quarterbacks.
better. You know what I'm saying? That's the running back thing. We've seen the wheels fall off. I like Zeke. I don't want to see him get screwed. I want to see him get
Look
paid.
at the
but-
championship teams. They have a run game, and the backs come away with something in the playoffs to get those teams a championship. Even the Patriots,
You
who have the
both
best
think-
quarterback of all time.
We're not going to talk numbers here, but Dak will get signed first. Both of
I
you
do. Yeah, I
there.
think so, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you think the second most important person you would say is who? Amari or Zeke?
I think Zeke's the most important person. Actually.
You don't.
I think Zeke maybe this second is. But I'd go to Amari first. Amari is still getting better, changed the offense, and you said it a couple times, Mike, they can trust Amari off the field. We don't know what's going to go on with Zeke, and that's his fault.
More on the Cowboys in a bit. We'll talk about how far that defense can take them this year in the NFC.
Rashad.
And up next, I mean, this broke the game.
But but he's standing right there by the wall. I can see if he threw it from the other end zone and it went out of the and it went out of it.
The context of this. What does just cuss?
Hey, Pat, you think you can throw it out of the stadium?
You,
Sure, give me
you
the ball.
couldn't throw it in that garbage can, Mahomes? Come on.
know what? Next.
Not good enough.
Next.
And we guess Nuke would have gotten the top Madden rating. Who else should have gotten into the 99 club? Is 4 too many, Kyle?
Okay, I think 2 is too many.
Oh, boy.
I think Donald's the only guy in the league. But hey, I don't make the game.
You're a Madden